Well, that was unexpected. Hey, what's up everyone, it's me, SpeedSuperSonic, bringing you another video. In this video today, we are talking about, surprisingly, not the Sonic movie franchise. It seems like for the past while, that's all we've been talking about. Sonic Movie 3, Knuckles TV show. In fact, that's coming up this week, so I'm surprised that we're kicking the week off by talking about video games. And not just any video games, we're talking about the direct follow-up to, well, the most popular 3D Sonic game of all time. Factually, check it. That's right, as I'm sure you guys might have heard, there have been rumblings, there have been rumors, there have been leaks that yes, a direct sequel to Sonic Frontiers is in the works. Being dubbed right now Sonic Frontiers 2, I doubt that's what it's going to be called. In fact, I think it will have a completely different subtitle. It will be Sonic Horizon? I don't know. That actually is a hard name. Sega, please take that. Please do it. Now, there's a lot of layers to this. You might be like, how is this getting out? What's going on here? Isn't this kind of obvious? Well, a lot of those we're going to answer right now. So first, how did all of this start? Well, this is coming from a very familiar source, but kind of an unlikely one as well. So if you guys don't know, for a while in the Sonic movie world, we've been talking about Daniel RPK. He's been this very reputable source that has been giving us news on Sonic Movie 3 and the Sonic movie universe, such as letting us know that Christian Ritter was going to be in movie 3, that a Shadow spin-off project is in the works, and little small details here and there based off of what he knew around that world. He's primarily a movie, TV show, that kind of person, leaker and source, and I don't know really what other word I could use to describe him, but you get the point. So it was kind of a shock when he dropped some new Sonic news, but it wasn't in reference to any of the movies or that kind of stuff going on with Paramount. It was about a new game, and not just any game, it was about how Sonic Frontiers 2 is in development, which I found very interesting that he would say this. You might be like, oh, that means that this is incredibly unlikely. Well, no. Since this person, Daniel RPK, is always talking about, you know, movies and that kind of stuff, and not really game-related insider scoops or anything like that. Actually, I think this adds more credence to it, because, like, why would he talk about this in particular if he didn't know it was, like, 100% certain? How he has this source where he's getting info that Sonic Frontiers 2 is in development over anything else, beyond me. But due to his track record of getting almost everything right, I'm sure he's botched a few of his stories, but from a Sonic standpoint, he has not gotten anything wrong. And let's say you didn't buy Daniel RPK's track record and you're like, okay, we'll see, maybe, potentially, who knows. This was shortly followed up by Midori, who, if you guys don't know, has been leaking a lot of Sonic info this year in particular when it comes to games, specifically on the mobile side of things. She started off as like a persona, like that kind of leaker. I know nothing about that, so I'm not gonna try to dive too much into it. We're here for Sonic, gosh darn it. And she went on to clarify that yes, this is indeed true in this tweet that we're seeing right here, which, you know, I'm going to choose to believe. We have two incredibly reliable sources who have gotten everything right possible, confirming Sonic Frontiers 2 is in the works, and this personally makes me incredibly excited. And now, this is the other part where I mentioned earlier a few seconds ago that a lot of people are saying, well, wasn't this likely? Wasn't like this a no-brainer? Wasn't this coming? Like, this isn't really news. Well, let's talk more about it. Believe it or not, as someone who's been covering like every interview that Azuka or any of these people related to the Sonic franchise do, it actually wasn't a 100% guarantee that the next Sonic game, like the next main series Sonic game, would be a direct follow-up to Frontiers, even though I think we all acknowledge it should be. They were really flirting and talking about the possibility of going back to the adventure formula and doing a more traditional 3D Sonic game in the style of something like an adventure. Maybe there's going to be an Adventure 3, you know, there was talks of that. But I think deep down, once when Sonic Frontiers came out and we acknowledge, okay, this is a good game. This is a really good game, in fact. But it's not perfect. I wouldn't really even call it like amazing, spectacular perfection. I don't think anybody really would, because I don't think anything is perfect. There was definitely room for improvement, things that you could change, build upon, grow. Now that you have this engine, you have experience with this kind of game, you can just really build upon it in the future. Something that Sega and Sonic Team have proven to not do. Yes, we got a little boost trilogy from Unleashed to Generations, but what did they do when they kind of perfected that and had a really good thing going with the boost formula? They switched up and made Lost World out of nowhere. You could even call Heroes a departure from the adventure gameplay style a little bit. Sega has proved that they are willing to take a risk, if you will, and a lot of the times the risks don't pay off. I think we acknowledge that a lot of the time they can take the easy route and build upon what has worked for them, what will continue to work for them in the future, and I think we all hope that's what they would do with Frontiers and learn from their past lessons. Now, don't get me wrong, would I love to see a more traditional 3D Sonic game in the style of the adventure games in the future, specifically SA3, of course. But would I also like to see them perfect what they have built with Sonic Frontiers? Of course. In fact, that's what I would have preferred, and that's why I'm so happy that this is coming out. I think this confirms to us that if they're dubbing this Sonic Frontiers 2, then that means that this is going to be essentially a direct follow-up to that game, following the same gameplay style, the same overall concept. I'm sure the story will be different. I pray to God we don't go back to the Starfall Islands. I think it'd be very cool if we got that kind of, open zone, as they describe it, in a more traditional Sonic sense. So like more Sonic level aesthetics maybe. We could go for, like Station Square. We could have all of those different cartoony Sonic levels that we have just in that open zone environment. I think would be so fun. Will we get that? Will we be blessed with that? I have no clue. We'll have to wait and see. But with this game being in the works, I'm assuming has been in the works for a while, it seems like it's now being built and constructed into a more solid state to where people definitively know what this is now. Which I think also lends to another discussion of this thing potentially being right around the corner. I think there's a chance that this thing could drop next year potentially. I know that might sound super quick, a very fast turnaround. They might have had the ball rolling and have been spending more time and kind of releasing a smaller scale game this year so they can really focus on dropping something bigger next year. And that's what that very well could be, Sonic Frontiers 2. Think about it, we waited from 2017 until 2022 for a new mainline Sonic game. That was 5 years. A lot of stuff went into that, such as the pandemic, Sega and Sonic trying to figure out what they were as a brand and shifting to a completely different engine / gameplay style. I believe it was made known that they wanted Sonic Frontiers to release in 2021 opposed to 2022, which would have shaved it down to 4 years instead, but they delayed it, which I think was the right move. So if all's going according to plan and going decently, a 3-year wait isn't that out of the realm of possibilities. In fact, I think that is almost the perfect amount of time for a main series Sonic game wait. Once again, this isn't the most shocking news in the world because it really was a 50-50 coin flip of this could either be a direct sequel to Frontiers or it could be a 3D game in the style of SA 1 and 2, both of which I think would have made everyone happy, including myself. If this was coming out that the next Sonic game was going to be adventure formula based, then I'd also be just pretty happy about that. But I do think this is the smartest decision because if they hone this, if they perfect this, get this really, really right, this could really be where the Sonic franchise goes for the next few years. We've heard Asuka describe this as the biggest leap the franchise has taken gameplay style-wise since the adventure game, the first adventure game to be specific, in 1999. There was heart and ambition in Frontiers that we didn't see for a while, and if they're really able to perfect that and make it the best it can possibly be, then I think we're in store for something very, very special with this sequel. In fact, I'm willing to put money that if they take the proper time with this game, which is of course one of the biggest things with the Sonic franchise and Sega, if they don't rush it out the door, if they're doing the best they possibly can, then there's a really good chance that this is going to be better than Frontiers, which is an even more exciting prospect. Ian Flynn has now more experience writing the games. I'm assuming with him getting behind the pen for everything related to Sonic nowadays, he'll be returning for Frontiers 2 and he'll have a better story. And while I liked Frontiers' story, there was definitely improvements that could have been made upon that. But of course, there's so many factors that go into it. It's not just Ian Flynn. Maybe some different vocal direction. Maybe Sonic won't sound like just Roger Craig Smith. I don't know, there's so many things. There's so many ways that they can improve this, and that's just the biggest hope, that they do that they improve upon what they've created with the Frontiers world and universe. I'm so excited. I'm beyond excited for what this game has in store. Of course, we're going to be covering this thing like a hawk. I doubt we're going to be hearing news about this for a while, guys, so settle down. If more details, if more information emerges from these credible sources, we'll be covering it because this is very exciting. But like I said, this is also probably still a ways out. This is the first time we're really hearing anything concrete about, the next main series Sonic. And we knew that it was in the works, that they were working on something. I mean, they have to. This is a big franchise that they want to make money off of and get games out for. But now that we know what it is in particular, I think we have a lot to look forward to. But this is where I pass it off to you guys and ask what you think. What do you think about Sonic Frontiers 2? Basically officially being in the works right now. Not officially because Sega hasn't said anything, but it's essentially confirmed, we can say. Was this what you're hoping for? Did you want that direct Frontiers gameplay style and story and all that follow-up, or did you want them to go back to a more traditional 3D style in the same way as Sonic Adventure? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you guys have to say. Feel free to follow my social media links, my Twitter and Instagram in the description below. You can follow those my things of my life, future content, and all things Sonic the Hedgehog. But most importantly, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. This is the #1 destination on YouTube for all things Sonic. Whether it's video games, TV shows, movies, comics, merchandise, and more, we talk about it all. Like I said towards the beginning of the video, Knuckles is dropping this week. We're going to be doing so much content in relation to that show. It's going to be ridiculous. We're going to be reviewing it, reacting to it, breaking down some Easter eggs, all of that. It's going to be such a fun time. I can't wait. I love all you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
And be right by the motherfucking seaside, dog. Everything I see, I got a dream. I thought these leaves would go and take me out the dark. I know everything I wanted to far away.